Welcome to the Catch Up Podcast number 53, the number one place to feed your curiosity. Everyone has their own point of view and has their own story. I'm here to share these stories and show you it's possible for everyone to achieve greatness. Thank you for all my listeners for supporting me along this podcast, and I hope you enjoy this episode. I'm your host, Bryan Sumardi, aka the Swole Banker, and in this episode, I talk to Chaq Daniel, photographer and salesman based in DMV.
Sir,
What's
pleasure.
good?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I love anything impromptu.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. Sunday came over, talk, hang out, and then here we are.
Boom.
Here we are making a podcast. So
We're trying to get the story right.
Always, yeah. Always a good story.
See now, I'm getting you on film, trying to figure out your background.
Yeah.
You grew up in Germantown.
Yeah.
Went to Clarksburg High School.
Yep.
And you kind of just went from there.
Yeah. So
Any
initially,
big things you want to know?
yeah. So initially, I was born in the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Yeah, moved up here. Been in Germantown basically like my whole life. Went to Clarksburg High School. So we know each other from that Montgomery County.
Moco. Everybody know each other.
Everyone knows each other in Moco. And then, obviously, I end up graduating from Towson.
Okay.
So stayed around the area, lived in Baltimore for a little bit, and then just been around the DMV since then. So
There you go.
yeah.
When did you get to the DMV? See, from
When I was like 8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah, so elementary school. Yeah.
Okay. Dope. And I'm thinking like, my biggest thing I'm trying to figure out, how'd you get into sales and photography?
Yeah, so photography, one, is more of like a, passion. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, you see people taking pictures, you're like, dang, I want to do that too. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then, like you hone into your craft and it's something you just work on.
Yeah.
I think sales was just like, honestly, probably started with me being in trouble in class for talking too much. And then just like being like, hey, like I need to do this for good reason.
Yeah.
So I think a big part about sales is not really necessarily salesy people, but just being able to have a conversation without people thinking you're salesing them.
Right.
So I was always just talking way too much, but it's paying off now.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
And then like, when did you get your first camera or what you use?
First camera, I think 2000 and gotta be like 14.
2014. Okay.
Yeah, I think like not old, but a Nikon D610.
There you go.
Just, used, grabbed like one lens and just like went at it.
Okay. And then you do a lot of portraits.
Yeah, heavy into portraits. So portraits and fashion is like my main thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's like definitely like my main niche.
I gotta give you props. I love your coloring.
I appreciate that.
That's like, to me, like now I'm getting into like video.
Yeah.
Video editing is so much harder because I feel like you don't have much control.
For sure.
But I still don't even know how you do it on like regular stuff.
I feel like for me that's kind of like one way you want to like differentiate yourself. Like obviously like when it comes to photography and me,
Yeah.
I think me, 10 other people can go outside, take the same picture.
Right.
But then like, what differentiates me from another person is how I may edit. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's how I kind of put like my like one shot, like little name to it.
Yeah.
And just make it my thing, So
Bet.
yeah.
Okay. I was always thinking when you said one shot Shaq, it's like you take one shot, it's perfect.
I wish,
yeah.
like, if it was like that,
awesome.
we'd be all right. You know what I mean?
No, I got you.
I mean, like we used to play around with that because the name one shot sounds so funny. It's like, damn, but like in reality, you've done a shoot, I've done a shoot.
Yeah.
It's never gonna be just one shot and you're out of there.
Facts.
But it's always fun to think about it that way. So.
Okay. Well, now I'm trying to steal some knowledge off of you.
Yeah.
What's your process? I guess first let's start with the photos. Like,
Yeah.
if you got a photo shoot, I think something that I'm trying to learn too is like how to pose your subject.
Yeah. So I think because I was talking to a friend of mine about this honestly yesterday.
Yeah.
I think when you get into like portraiture, depending on the portrait, even if it's like an engagement or even if it's fashion, you got to find things you want to highlight, right?
Okay.
So if there's certain features, have it be someone's eyes, have it be someone's like body figure, whatever it may be, their hair, you got to find out ways to highlight it.
Right.
If it's a dress, maybe get them moving, you know what I mean? So it looks fun, you know what I
Action,
mean?
yeah.
Something like that, you know what I mean? So these are all things I think about going into a shoot. Obviously, location helps.
Right.
Because, like, there's certain places where there's too much going on.
Yeah.
And it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Then there's places when there's not enough.
Right.
So
Boring.
you try to, exactly.
Headshot.
Exactly. So, like, if it's something professional, sure, boring works. If it's something, vibrant, then maybe you want some things, popping out.
Right.
So you got to think about that, like, shoot.
Okay.
So that's what I think about. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any like rules of thumb? Like for me, everything goes out the window once I'm at the shoot. But I feel like there's certain things that we got to know, like for like beginners. So what was your like first tip to like someone just picking up a first DSLR?
My boy taught me this, and I don't know why it stuck with me, but there's rules of thirds, right?
Okay.
So obviously, like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You want your picture as centered as possible. Like, I don't think people realize, like, the moment something's actually centered right, it makes the picture just that much more attractive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, that's, like, my number one thing. Like, no matter what, that's, like, the one thing I have to do. And then also, like, following lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's things that attract the eye to the picture and guides them to the subject.
Right.
You know, so, yeah.
Okay. No, that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, I started off just doing everything off the iPhone.
Yeah.
Off a phone.
Yeah.
And then on my iPhone, I have it specifically. I have the grids.
Yeah, the grids they set up.
Grid.
Yeah.
There's always there. Everyone always asks me like, "Oh, why is there so many lines?"
That's
I
key.
need that.
Yeah, that's key because like you know, like once it's centered, you're good. You know what I mean? Like, like the face symmetrical, everything just makes sense that way. So
it kind of like leads you like, all right, center. That's
like
that's
two
what we
buildings, a person, like a person, whatever it may be, the subject.
Yeah.
It just puts everyone where they need to be. You know what I mean? So
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. What about editing? What do you use and how do you like look at stuff?
So my flow of editing, so what I like to do is usually just go through all the pictures that I take. So have it be like 200.
Right.
If I plan on editing 15, I'll like star them, favorite them as I go along. Like, hey, I like this. Hey, I like this. Boom. So that's like culling.
Selecting.
Yeah, selecting, culling, whatever. And then for me, once I like color grade, you know, a certain picture the way I want it to be, make sure the skin tones look good because that's like key. Like you don't want to look like orange, like red or anything crazy, you know, or too pale. So then I like to work basically on Lightroom to figure out like just the basics, and then when it comes to like changing colors and things like that, Photoshop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you have like a two app.
Yeah. So I try to like, you know, do all the minor things there. Sometimes pictures look fine coming out of Lightroom.
Yeah.
And then when there's things I want to play with that are like
colors,
I need to change like the color of the dress. Boom. Your eye color. Boom. All that. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where Photoshop comes into play.
Dope. Okay, and I'm pretty sure by this time now you have like certain presets.
Yeah.
Just like,
so funny thing is.
Oh, you don't.
So I have presets, right? And I'm actually gonna be like selling them soon.
Dope.
So you know what I mean?
There
So like yeah. So interesting that you just brought that up. But yeah, just been working on stuff like to make my color pop like what I use.
Yeah.
I just want to, you know, bring that out for the people. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, honestly, that's what I do. I'm doing more events now.
Yeah.
I find like that's my niche.
Yeah.
And if I'm in a indoor dark hotel, you don't really get like if I want those candid shots.
Yeah.
I can kind of tell what presets.
Exactly.
Or I do one photo and then just
work like that. Because I think like once you find like you have a subject in a certain area, the green you need it to be a certain green the whole way through. You know what I mean? The dress needs to be a certain blue the whole way through. You know what I mean? The skin needs to be a certain color. So you can like throw the preset on and then make your minor adjustments depending on like the light, angles, whatever it may be. So yeah, and that also helps speed up the process.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially with those events. I know how that is. Oh boy.
You either get like a blurry shot, out of focus, something.
Something's always, because remember, like at an event, no one is ever really posing for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're like talking, they're walking, they're vibing, they're doing whatever, and then like your job is just to try to catch as much as you can. So, no, I definitely get it.
Okay. Okay. I want to hear. What's a horror story? Every media person has this one horror story they always.
So like while shooting or just post?
Either or, your choice.
Okay. So I think like while shooting, and I won't say any names.
Yeah.
I was told that I was gonna shoot a dinner event.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. I go to this hotel in Rockville. Boom. And I go and I'm like, man, I can't figure out like where the dinner event is. I see a list of things going on that night in the hotel.
Yeah.
I see like both their last names. I go there, it's a wedding. And I'm by myself.
Wow.
And the event was like 5 hours at this time. I'm like, dang. So I came by myself with like just a camera and one lens, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get there, walk inside, immaculate. And it's dark.
Oh,
so I go there and I'm like fresh in. This is probably like my second wedding. I'm just happy to be there. You know what I mean?
Got the job.
Yeah. Like I'm happy I got the job. I go in, boom, I start taking pictures. Bro, it was like so many people. I couldn't fathom it. Like I remember like after like 4 hours, I'm like, what did I get myself into? I go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, about to cry. Like, legitimate. Like,
I
there was
understand.
so much. And, like, even, and you know what? Like, I guess, like, these are things you talk about beforehand, but,
Yeah.
like, when it came to the food, it's like they didn't want me to eat. I was lost. No joke, man. No joke. They're
Whoa.
like, yeah, like, aren't you supposed to be taking pictures of people eating? I was like, what?
Why do you want that?
I don't exactly.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's the most unflattering angle.
This is nuts. So that was one that got me because I was so young.
Yeah.
And I like didn't even know like events at night, and like when I got talked into something I wasn't prepared for. So yeah, but you live and you learn. That's why there are contracts out now.
Okay. I like
Things
that.
into play. Things into play. But yeah.
Okay. I definitely want to hear how'd you edit those. Because I know noise, even turning up your ISO.
I prayed.
Okay.
But nah, so the good thing is I had a flash at the time, which helped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was dark, but I had a flash. And I don't really like using direct flashes because you know how they are. It can be a little harsh.
Yeah.
But I think like I just had to spend a lot of time like editing like the main subject to be like a little bit lower, like exposure wise.
Okay.
And then just work from there. At that point, you know, I did the best I could.
Yeah.
So you can only fix with so much, but hey, at the end of the day, they were happy about it. And then I just moved on and just, I honestly didn't even bring it up. I was like, all right, see you guys later. Bye. Boom. So we're done.
Okay. Yeah, I love that. I think from there, I think you, from us, before on cam, talking about sales, I love talking to other sales guys.
Yeah, of course.
And what's different, I feel like this is going to be a great, just like, discussion.
Yeah.
I feel like you've been always more on the extroverted side.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think I'm more. If I could, I would be remote. I'd be an IT person.
Okay.
Like chill. But I'm still good at sales.
There's a place for both.
Yeah.
For sure, 100%. I had a friend who, you know, like she did sales with me. I mean, she doesn't do sales anymore. She was successful at sales. Introvert, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super chill.
Moved on.
Yeah, definitely definitely relationship based. You know what I mean? Like she was never like, hey, sign this and then keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like she was great at making, you know, those like connections and having that conversation. She had great at relationships, you know what I mean? So like there's a strong suit for everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So definitely I think sales is just something that I think just again, we talked about it, talk too much in class.
Yeah.
Something I just happen to be decent at. So it's like, you know, my day to day.
So it's like you think you're also good at relating people. I guess a direct question would be like, how do you find your photography clients? Or at this point, it's word of mouth?
So like honestly at this point it's word of mouth.
Okay.
I haven't done like too much marketing. You know, like obviously I think when you have a relationship with the clients you shot before, they trust me.
Yeah.
So they tell like their friends, their family, boom. So that's all it's really been. And I've had people I've shot at this point, I think I shot everyone in their family.
Nice.
You know, I'm just around. And I'm cool with that, you know what I mean? And it's good because you know how it is marketing yourself and always putting stuff out. It's nice when you have, you know, clientele that already trusts you so much that you're just like, hey, oh, your cousin needs something done. Oh, like there's a wedding coming up.
Yeah.
Boom.
Hit up my boy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been good. And I think that's like, you know, that comes into sales. Like if you come off too like aggressive, you know, like, hey, like this is a shoot. Hope you like this. Bye.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have got that repeat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I wouldn't seen another deal, another shoot, another anything. So
right. Okay. Then let's take account. How long have you been shooting now? Like, I guess.
So I guess, I want to say like it's probably going on 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah. Since like someone decided to give me money for it.
There you go. Okay.
So that's been good. Yeah.
How long do you think it took you to get like a more steadier flow, like that trust? You know what I mean?
I would say like continuous flow of like clientele, probably a few years, probably 2 to 3 years.
Takes 2 to 3. Okay.
Because the other thing, like when you start, you're almost like
you're nobody.
Yeah, you're nobody. You have to find people to shoot just so you can market your work. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then after that, people got to find you. Yeah. Like social media, if you're nobody, how do people find you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. So like between like the 2 to 3 years, I'm just like honing in on my craft, trying to find out like what specifically I want to be like.
Yeah.
And then just shooting people. Sometimes I was shooting just for fun.
Yeah.
Just so I can have that work to document like, hey, I can do this, I can do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had like friends, I would just throw them an outfit.
Yeah.
They would wear something fun. Like, hey, let's just go to DC real quick and just shoot. You know what I mean?
Get your reps in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because you have to. Like, if you're not doing anything, you're not getting better.
Facts.
So.
Yeah, no, I got one of my boys. He's really into like nature photography.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't. I mean, he does post his stuff out every now and then. But I'm trying to tell you, bro, just get out there, put your work out, and then just start telling people.
Yeah.
You know
and that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, in the world that we live in, honestly, like, marketing, there's so many ways to market yourself nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
you can go through ads, you can go through like little groups, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
like people just say like they need a photographer, whatever.
Yeah.
Literally word of mouth, like, you know what I mean? We could just talk to everyone that's out here.
Yeah.
Because nowadays everyone wants a picture of something. You know what I
Everybody
mean?
wants that like recognition.
Exactly, yeah. So like there's so many ways to do it. You just have to do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you can't just sit there and not.
Right.
Like, even you can't just sit there and not shoot either. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because like you're not getting better if you're not shooting.
You're
You know
rusty,
what I mean?
either rusty or you're just getting out of date.
Yeah, because even COVID, when
Yeah.
COVID first happened, I was like, okay, cool, I can take a break. And then I took a little break.
Yeah.
Because like there's nothing to shoot. You couldn't really talk to people, you know what I mean?
Right.
Bro, you go back to editing after that, you're like, whoa, how do I do this? Like skin retouching was different. Like I almost forgot stuff.
Okay.
So I'm calling like good friends of mine, just like, yo, how does this look? Like, you know what I mean? Like
check me on this.
It was, yo, for real, because it was crazy, because like you really couldn't do anything for like months upon months upon months. So it was just like, what am I gonna do? Take a picture of like outside and like my house? Like, no, like, you know what I mean? So it was for me just like, you know, that made me realize like even if I do need to like take a break, just slow down. Yeah. Not necessarily drop the camera completely. Right. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Okay. How about like, say in the beginning, or I guess maybe now better.
Yeah.
About how many jobs are you taking like in a month?
I would say probably closer to like 10.
10? Okay.
Yeah, like 8 to 10. You know what I mean? On a good month.
At least 2 a week.
Yeah, just about. You know, I usually do them on the weekends and stuff, like, you know, in the mornings or whatever it may be. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then for someone just trying to get into the game, what do you suggest someone doing, like, is their main money getter to, like, stay afloat? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, like, for me, I mean, I think there's money in all aspects, right? Like, you know, I have a friend, she niches literally in just, like, newborn shoots. Okay. She does well for herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's people I know that just do weddings. Now, we know weddings, there's good money in events and weddings.
Right.
But I think those are extremely stressful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's one wedding, there's one day. If you mess up, it's on you. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You can't retake.
So there's no retake. We're not running this back at all.
Hey, rehearsal.
So then there's like me, you know, who's in portraiture, and you get X amount, you know, per hour or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I think that's a little bit more steady, and plus I'm so used to it, there's no stress with it, you know what I mean?
Right.
And anything I mess up, I feel like I can make up for it on the back end with like editing.
Right.
So like, I think like if someone's like interested in, you know, the money side of things for photography, I mean, events is the way to go. 100%. You know, it's just like, you got to be good at it. Like, don't, you know, if you're in it just for the money, good luck, because there's a whole lot of stress that's going to follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing I've been like talking about. I'm really big on business.
Yeah.
And I think that passion stuff that you were talking about, that's major key. If you're not passionate about what you do, or I think that's another thing about sales.
Yeah.
If you're not passionate about what you sell, you're not going to sell it.
No, 100%.
Or you're not going to be good at it.
Yeah. I remember I was talking to, you know, our good friend Matt.
Yeah.
When we were talking about sales, you know, early in my career, you know, I was selling just to kind of get better at selling.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me, like, if I don't really like what I'm selling, there's going to be no passion, no get in me to be like, what do I need to do to sell this product? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm honestly just going to be like, oh, they don't like it? All right, cool. Next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Numbers game.
Yeah, exactly. If you truly believe in something, you're going to make someone want to feel the way you feel about it. Right. You know what I mean? So.
Damn. I mean, I think about that in the lending world.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier. It's like my job as a lender, like an independent lender, is to meet a bunch of realtors and kind of like do business with them.
Yeah, of course.
But then it's about me out of a million lenders in the world.
Why you?
Why me?
Yeah.
And when it's like thinking about like photography. Like there's a million photographers. You all basically do the same thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't have something that differentiates you, don't have that certain relationship, then it's not gonna work out. You know what I mean?
So like my question, you know, for you is like in the lending world, what do you think sets you apart? You know what I mean?
I think for me, it's just I like, because I'm really big in business and the marketing. I either put like a name to myself. I say like AKA the Swole Banker.
And it sticks.
Either that sticks or my personality.
Yeah.
I'm more, I think the best way to say it, like urban.
Yeah.
Like, I'm more laid back.
Yeah, okay.
When you see your regular banker lender, they're always in a suit. They're always like professional.
Yeah.
And we have a mutual friend, Jess.
Yeah.
She literally told me like, you know what? I like the way you approach me.
Yeah.
Like, I just asked her out for coffee and just tried to like build a relationship.
Yeah.
I like that you were actually normal.
Yeah.
I wasn't like
not business.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
Hey, I think I can offer you XYZ products to help your clients and blah blah blah. I was like, hey, I'm trying to build up new friends, relationships.
Build up that network.
I think we have similar circles.
Yeah.
I think it was good that Moco people were around Moco people. And
we all know it. And we all know it.
Trust. The trust is there.
It's there. No, 100%.
Finding the common ground is what sets you apart.
100%.
And I think, I'll tell you my gems is like I try to marry worlds.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite movies that I've like told a lot of people when I build my businesses is like, have you heard Take the Lead? Antonio Banderas.
Oh yeah.
So like the thought of marrying two different things, and I say this comment a lot of time. When I was in MC, I took a ceramics class.
Okay.
The teacher taught me the word dichotomy.
Okay.
And he said dichotomy is the mixture of two polar opposites, and that's the reason why you find things beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You heard that?
No, of course, yeah. And it makes sense, right? That's why, you know, like, almost like the opposites attract type of situation.
Yeah.
Because you've never actually been on that. Like me personally, I've never been on the other side of, you know, certain things. So when you see it mesh, you're like, dang, like this is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Because you almost never get that feeling. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's why, like, for like me and you, like you're coloring.
Yeah.
Like you never I've been start watching like more fashion YouTube.
Yeah.
And like thinking about like analogous colors and like complementary colors.
Facts.
I never thought about it, and you think of I think of sports now.
Yeah.
I think of jerseys.
Yeah.
Just black and white, blue and orange.
What sticks out?
Black and green, like those main colorways, like, wow.
Wow. Exactly. Yeah. And I think because that's like, you know, we talked about it before. When it comes to me, you know, and what sets me apart is definitely the coloring.
Yeah.
Like I want to say that that's like one of the strongest suits I have. Like I can take a picture, sure.
Yeah.
But just like the color grade, it's something I work hard on. I want that to pop.
Yeah.
I want there to be, you know, 30 pictures, like 30 different edits, and for someone to be like, dang, that's Shaq's. Boom.
Yeah.
And like that's all. That's how I want to separate myself. But then even when I'm going into a shoot, like, you know how it is, like businessy people, like, you know what I mean? I want people to feel like, you know, calm. I think that's when you get the best pictures, when people are comfortable, when people are themselves. If it's an engagement, you want them to act like how they are as a couple. You know what I mean? Not necessarily feel like they have to do something specific for me. You know what I mean? Like, don't force anything.
Yeah.
Like, you want someone, if they're in an outfit, they obviously looked in the mirror and thought they looked like, you know,
fresh,
that dude, that guy, you know, that girl. You know what I mean? So, like, let them feel that way. So that's what I think about.
Okay. I mean, me coming from the military, I think that's why I asked you about posing earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like sometimes I am forced to do certain things, or I feel like, no, this pose, I know specifically that I saw on another couple.
Yeah.
I make them do that pose. But then they might not be comfortable with it. You know, for me, it's like pulling my own head out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do you look for? Or...
The first thing I tell people as soon as we shoot, like if it's a couple, I'm like, whatever y'all are when the doors are closed, do that. Be that person. Be that. If y'all are sitting there laughing, if y'all like comedy, laugh, giggle. You know what I mean? Have a good time. If y'all really touchy-feely, hey, we can kiss it up for the next hour. You know what I mean? Like if that's what it is. You know what I mean? Because you have to get people in their comfort zone. It's not necessarily about you. It's not necessarily about me.
Right.
Like I may like a whole bunch of things. You know what I mean? But if it's not gonna work for them, it's not gonna work. So you have to find like where they're comfortable. Yeah. And then just find a way to work with that. And again, it goes back to if you're not shooting, you're not gonna get any better. Right. The more couples you shoot, the more things you see. It's like, I could do that, or I can have them hold hands and pull each other. That looks like something. You know what I mean? It's just different. So definitely.
Interesting. Yeah, I gotta let that soak in.
Yeah.
It's more just like one, get your reps in, and then two, let people be them.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever had like a stubborn client who's like, I think I look good like this, but you could tell like there's some rolls or like the photo's not gonna be good the way that they're posing.
If I feel like, you know, because you don't want to be rude. You know what I mean? Like that's one, right? So like you take the picture, maybe you show them like, hey, like, you know, what do you feel about this? Yeah. Maybe once they see like, hey, like this isn't the way I want it to look, they're like, oh, they trust me a little bit more. You know what I mean? But like, I'm not gonna knock somebody, you know what I mean, for if they feel like they feel good doing it and I just take a picture, hey, so be it. You know what I mean? Okay. My job is to give you advice when you need advice. Yeah. Not when you don't need it.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, maybe because I do more like candid or maybe just like when I'm still like practicing.
Yeah.
If I get one of my boys and like their main pose is this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we don't have to, we don't have to run it.
Yeah, because like, bro, you're looking closed off. You look angry. And then like back then I would be like, yo, I need a new photo for my Tinder and shit.
Something. Run it up.
Like,
Run it up.
bro, I could probably call a girl and be like, would you swipe right on this?
I was like, no, we're good. But that's the thing, like you gotta, like I said, when you find like someone who's like a little bit closed off, you gotta find things like hands in the pocket, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get them walking, something moving, so they don't look, because you can't walk like this.
Right.
You're not gonna do that, you know what I mean? So like, let them walk around, you know, like let them move a little bit, like have some movements with the arms, whatever it may be, something to just get them loose.
Yeah.
And then I think like as time goes on, you always see it in shoots. At first, it might be a little stiff, but then I think once they realize, yo, there's only but 20 minutes left.
Right.
I need a good picture.
Oh.
Then they're like, oh, okay, let me just take some advice.
Yeah.
Let me just try something. Because if you try it and it doesn't look good, you can delete it.
Right.
Not everything has to be edited.
Yeah.
So you just try it. I always tell people, yeah, try whatever.
Everything.
If you want to jump. If you want to do something cool, do something cool. You know what I mean? If it doesn't look good, it doesn't look good. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, that's dope. So I guess for your shoots, are you timing it?
So usually I go by like time, but like most of my shoots end up being around the same time. Like for my portraits, they're usually like right around an hour, maybe hour and a half. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. So I guess now I'm thinking about like the entire work process.
Yeah.
Because I kind of just, I overload myself sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long I take.
Yeah.
So like a shoot is an hour. How long do you think it takes to edit that shoot?
Oh, God. So obviously like I'm shooting while I'm editing other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So like I usually never go from shoot straight to like editing the same shoot. Usually I'm editing like other stuff. You know what I mean? Because things overlap.
Yeah. Okay.
And like I try to, you know, when I first started, I didn't give myself enough like time. Yeah. You know, I would tell people like, yeah, I can get it done in like 2-3 days. Yeah. And I had a friend, I was like, yeah, like that's not gonna work because like you're gonna get more business and then what? It's not gonna. Yeah, it's impossible. So like one thing with me is just like, you know, extending it out. You know, I think people understand if you want good work, they're not gonna rush you. Right. So I mean that was big and key for me, just finding out like, hey, like you know what, like let me take my time, let me make sure this is good. But usually if I shoot for an hour, I try to have at least looked at the pictures, edited most of them from like Lightroom, cleaned up whatever I needed to within the week. Okay. That's what I try to do. You know what I mean? Like obviously I'll tell my clients 2 weeks for it to be final at the latest. Yeah. But, you know, for a week, that's like good enough to me to like look at it, edit it, take a step back, look at it again, make sure like my eyes are fresh when I see it, and then, you know, be like, hey, this is the final. So you're like a 7 to 10 business days? Yeah. That makes sense. like a UPS package. Okay. That's dope. Yeah. I mean, that's I got a lot of gems out of that. Yeah. You got any question for me? I meant like, so, because I think one thing you brought up to me is like knowing like your end game. You know what I mean? So like, how long did it take you to figure out what your end game was gonna be, or like how long did it take you to even figure it out? Because I know you tried a bunch of things. You know what I mean? Like my financial or just like end game. Like end game. End game. Bro, it's always a moving target. Yeah. I can always say it's a moving target, but for me, I'm really big into like psychology. Okay. Have you heard like Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Yeah, of course. So like for real, it's like food, shelter, really food and shelter. Yeah. If you understand your budget, like for me, I'm a financial guy, 100%. Gotcha. That's how I got into lending, mortgage. I knew how much I spent every month. Yeah. And I knew how much income I need to make. Yeah. After taxes. Gotcha. Okay. Because you always have to factor in everything. Yeah. So like when I think about rental properties too, it's not just rent minus mortgages. Yeah. It's rent minus mortgage plus possibility of vacancy. Yeah. Possibility of expenses like something breaking. Something breaking in the house. Yeah. So you have to factor all those things into the big picture to make sure is this property worth it. Yeah. So for me, same thing. I mean, I think I'm a guy who takes a lot of risks. Yeah. That's what like also makes me different. That's what makes you who you are. Yeah. So for me, it was always just like, what can I do? Like, I feel like I've always been an offensive guy. Yeah. Like, my background, wrestled in high school. When I was playing football, I was a running back. Like for me, it was always scoring. Yeah. Scoring, and then that led to like me money. Yeah. And then just from being an athlete, it goes from there. It took, I think while I was in the military,
I went to the reserves.
Yeah.
And at one point, I did like an admin job in DC.
Yeah.
Working for the passport agency. Luckily, I had a lot of time on my hands where it wasn't a lot of thinking.
Yeah.
So I got to listen to a lot of podcasts during my work day.
Yeah.
I could honestly tell you from like 2015 to 2018, 3 years, I would listen to podcasts every day for at least 4 hours.
Wow.
So, and it was all about income.
Yeah.
So either rental properties. Something I learned was FIRE.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Financial independence, retire early.
Yeah, of course.
So for me, it's like whatever you could do to get your income up. And once I found my like vehicles that I could use to get my money up, then I kind of figured out what can I do to start investing.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like stocks, dividends, and then rental properties.
Gotcha.
And in reality, I think there's only two different things.
Yeah.
Is owning a business or property, real estate. Because if you own a business, it's the same thing as owning a stock.
Yeah. Uncapped growth.
Yeah. But then at that point, you're like figuring shit out. Like what do you want to do?
Yeah.
How do you acquire those things?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think for me, honestly, I haven't even thought of like the rental property thing. It always comes up like because you see it. Obviously, like we have friends who are, in that real estate business, people who have like, investments.
Yeah.
People see that large amount.
Yeah.
Like up front. And there's not enough like information that I think people like
we got in school.
Yeah, like just like in school, just to be like, dang, like I don't need all that money like now. You know what I mean? Like there's certain things that help you get there and then, take that equity and put it into something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
And like you're starting to see it more. Obviously, like you put out videos and we have friends that put out videos too that are making it like, oh, like this is a reasonable thing. You know what I mean? Like so I think it's good, having that education now. Like just at the ease of, Instagram and, TikTok, whatever it is. For people that can make that like that big decision, you know what I mean, or that decision that could help out, their future in the next 10 years, you know what I mean, because there's money in it. So
yeah, no, 100%. Like this is another reason why I like doing the podcast too. I want to hear your take on what information do you think I know that could help you or anybody watching?
Yeah, I think for me, because I watch your videos already on the daily, so I feel like I already taken stuff that I had no clue that was coming. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I think like for me, I think just knowing like, hey, I think you just did a video recently, no joke. You're like, if this house costs this much, this is how much like you need. You know what I mean? To break it down.
Yeah.
And I think like when people see that, they're like, it's almost so doable that you're like, why am I renting? You know what I mean? Like if you're really in the business of buying a home, it's like this is doable with all like the little types of loans that there are, and you just like I said, spoke about those things.
Yeah.
Because I think for me growing up, all I heard was like, you need 20%. If you don't have it, you're not getting a house.
Interesting.
And I was just like, okay. So then at this point, I didn't think a house was doable.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's 20%.
20% of a house in Montgomery County. It's not happening.
At least 6 figures.
Yeah. It's like, you got to be putting out something. So I think like just hearing that, hey, like there's options for you as a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
Things like that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I think that's one thing that obviously like you should capitalize on. Because like there's so many young people out there that's, renting, have no experience, no plans on buying a home because like, all you hear is house market going up.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Scares people.
Yeah, of course. But like you don't think long term how much, equity you're gonna have into a house.
Right.
And then what you're gonna be able to do from there. So
yeah, and think about it, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
Like when we were in high school or like I would say even us in middle school.
Yeah.
Like from exit 5 and above on 270 was exactly. Forest, fields, farms. And like, look where it is now.
Exactly. Everything there is like brand new. Like people are asking like almost $1 million for houses like there. And like I said, when we were younger, this was like, why would I even go down there?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I have like a mentor. He would tell me like back in the day, they would say King's Farm.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, would say like, yo, there's a tiger out there.
Like legit though.
Yeah, they would legit say that, but I don't think there was a real tiger.
No, I don't think there was a tiger in Montgomery County, but like there could have been cows out there for like legitimate, like it was like legit
for sure.
Farms like right there off King Farm, and now it's like how many houses are there? How many different complexes are there?
Exactly.
It's crazy what like a 10-year, 10, 15 years will do. You know what I mean? So it's obviously things that people should think about. You know?
And I think the biggest thing, I guess we would put like numbers in the factor is like think about 8 to 10% of appreciation. That's been like the average of Montgomery County.
And that's awesome.
Yeah. So like in 10 years, you're going to double your money.
Easy.
If you just break that down.
break
You know
that
what I'm
down.
saying?
Yeah.
So I was gonna say like when nothing was there, I would say 2006.
Yeah.
We're in 2022.
Making sense.
In the span of 10 years, it doubled.
Exactly.
So from nothing, it was something big now.
Something huge. Even if you had land there, you would have been caked right now.
Yeah.
And no one's, like I said, no one's thinking about that. So I think, like, obviously, your thing right now, making those videos, is just increase of awareness.
Right.
For the people that just didn't know that like this was going on. You know what I mean? And I think that's like one thing, keep on doing it. Because that's sticking with me. You know what I mean? Because I may sound like I know, but I'm learning from you. You know what I mean? Like, so it's been definitely good to like see those things and realize what's possible for me. You know?
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, if we had the same knowledge we know now, once we just turned like 18,
Come on
20.
Now. Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
come on now. Yeah, it would be 2-shot, 3-shot Shaq, whatever. It would have been a bunch of shots for Shaq.
Like triple business Shaq, you know what I'm saying?
It would have been
that's crazy.
But like, I mean, all you can do now is take the knowledge and then just go from there, because you're never too late.
Right.
You're never too late. You know what I mean? So, and that's one thing I learned. Like, you know, I thought I got into photography late.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like just running around and stuff, like I was just gonna get burnt.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, if I want it, I'm gonna get it. You know, so I'm out there. You know, I'll make trips to wherever. Do what I need to do so I can get where I want to be. So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
And I just really want to make that an emphasis now that I'm kind of like realizing it too.
Yeah.
From 2010, from when you graduate high school to where we are now, that was it's like 12 years.
12 years, perfect.
And like a lot of stuff has been developing.
Yes.
Imagine if you don't have student loans, if you don't have any debt, if you're not in the negative right now, this is the perfect time to take action.
Go get it.
And imagine you in the next 10 years.
Exactly.
You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
You're going to be set.
You're going to be great.
Yeah.
You're going to be great.
Like, I think Montgomery County is like going to be like the New York. You see, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah.
You make it in the DMV.
You're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me. Because there are, you know, I mean, like you go to New York, I mean, God, you can't even look at the prices of, you know, buildings in New York.
You got to wait to get rent.
Yeah, like, yeah, exactly. Like,
just to rent a building.
Just to rent a room. It's nuts, yeah. So, like I said, Montgomery County is definitely getting the... We've always said, like, you know, like, if you didn't want to live in D.C., Montgomery County was, like, the next best thing, you know? And, like, you're starting to see it's getting populated, maybe a little overpopulated, but things are growing extremely fast. So it's a sight to see, and I love this area. I think, like, Moco in itself has a community in it. I think once you know that someone's from Moco, like, it's a genuine bond already, you know what I mean? So I love it here, and it's just, you know, more opportunity, so.
100%. And this is probably like one of my like final questions though.
Yeah.
It's more like I'm really big into the law of attraction.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard me ask this question before. It's like, who are the 5 closest people you associate with, like mentor wise, whether it's virtual or in person?
Yeah.
And how or what they do to affect you?
Yeah. So, I mean, if I include like, you know, like family.
Yeah.
Like.
That's fine.
I would definitely say like my mom and dad for 2 different reasons. You know what I mean? Like they're 2 completely different people.
Yeah.
I think my mom is somebody who's like just super down to earth. You know what I mean? Like just super caring, always wants the best for people.
Yeah.
And I think like that comes out in me just in both business and in just like, you know, regular life. My dad, he's a grinder, always worked hard. You know what I mean? Like always like made it a point to show like, hey, like if you work hard, you'll get what you need, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's like key. I think one of the photographers that like honestly, I looked up to, and I don't even know if she knew how much. Naya, she's in Kansas City.
Okay.
I think she made me realize like it's doable, like all of it. You know what I mean? Like she's done so many great things. I think like I knew her off of just social media. We met in person. And I was like, yo, like she's a dope individual. Yeah. And like she's just like a regular person like me. You know what I mean? And like just have a great bond. Super dope. Yeah. Does great work and doesn't even like she's super humble about it. Yeah. So I think like that's someone, and then like our mutual friend, Josh, Josh Fung. Yeah. I think when it comes to work ethic, I see him doing so much, you know what I mean? Not only just like in the community that he's in, but just like the Montgomery County community. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just constantly growing, constantly networking, you know what I mean? It just shows, I think just overall, like my friends, I think like one thing, friends and all like the close people to me is like, I never felt like, hey, like I didn't have support. Right. I think like they have always been supportive of everything I've done, good and bad. Yeah. So like I never feel like, hey, like I can slow down. You know what I mean? Because it's like, hey, like I'm gonna disappoint them. You know what I mean? So like I've always had great support around me. So that's probably the 5 major things, you know, or people or things that have like, you know, stuck with me.
Honestly, that's probably the best answer I ever got. Because normally I get always parents. Parents are
Yeah.
number one.
Yeah.
Then normally it's kind of like a significant other.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe a mentor.
Yeah.
But I think the older I've gotten into the podcast, the more people I've been meeting who are older too, or
Yeah.
my age that I'm interviewing.
Yeah.
That like they kind of have that mentor. They have a good area, or really, you sound like you have a nice set of group of friends.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, like I could boast and brag about it, but I have
Yeah.
like friends, the significant others, you know, whatever it may be. Even like my brother, like
Yeah.
all these people so supportive of everything I do.
Yeah.
That like I really don't feel like I can like I can't be bad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like they've always supported from day one. I've had long relationships with like all these people. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like plus years for good reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's like been super key into building up, you know, who I am as a person. You know, you take good things from all of them,
Yeah.
and they're all so good at different things that like we're always learning from each other. So
Right. I definitely I don't know. In my head, my first thing is like thank your parents.
Yeah.
That's like they raised you right. 100%.
Definitely like my parents, and it's just like, because again, so many different things about them that are so like so cool to me now. Because you know, the older you get, you start seeing like,
start appreciating.
Of course, you're like, oh, I definitely got this from my mom.
Yeah.
I definitely got this from my dad. This is exactly the way that I am because of that. You know what I mean?
Oh.
But I think like they also, you know, instill like, you know, that circle around you. You know what I mean? Like if everyone's around you good, oh, you can't get hurt. You know what I mean? Like it's like almost like a protection. You know what I mean? So that's why I have like that close group of people. Like everyone who knows me knows like my friends immediately.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if you can relate to this. So this is like my pro and con.
Yeah.
Going into elementary school,
Yeah.
my mom would always invite my entire class to her house for my birthdays.
Yeah.
And me being like, so like I kind of grew up more sheltered.
Yeah.
So I didn't really go out unless it's for like Sunday school or school.
Yeah.
And then like that's it.
And we're coming right back home.
Yeah. Come back home. And so when like I think I've always been like a shyer person.
Yeah.
I like literally my birthday probably until I was at least 7 or 8.
Okay.
They would sing happy birthday at a little dining room table. I would crawl under the table and cry.
No.
I did not. I still don't like a lot of attention.
Yeah. No.
But I'm gonna do a fast forward.
Yeah.
Because that happened.
Yeah.
My mom gave me a good base network that like it's important for you to make friends with everybody.
100%.
And that's the biggest thing I got from my mom. I don't know if you can relate to that.
I think like for me, it's more like my dad. Like he's definitely the person that's out there like talking to anyone. Like he's like
networking.
I couldn't even say he's a party animal. He's a party starter. Like my guy is just he's there. He wants to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
And I think like for me, it was just like taking in like you never know like what people like you don't know you don't know someone's story. You never know what they can do for what you can do for them, right?
Right.
Until you actually take a chance to talk to them.
Facts.
And I think like for me, everyone has a story.
Yeah.
The reason why you have this podcast is like there's so many different stories out there.
Yeah.
And I think just on like a micro level, I try to get to know everyone's little story because there's so many ways that I could relate to somebody or for them to feel connected to me. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, just sometimes it's a little risk because I mean, who likes to talk to random people? Like, it's not easy, even for an extrovert like me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be the easiest to talk to someone brand new about God knows what because you don't know.
Right.
So I think it's always worth the risk though because I think a part of, you know, getting better at, you know, my craft and also growing my business is you have to talk to people and just put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess this is not speaking from like my introvert friends.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest thing is like, I don't know if every time I tell them like, I think you have a fear of being rejected.
Yeah.
They tell me like, no, I'm fine. But then why don't you take action?
Yeah.
Why don't you make a move?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, I think that's like reasonable. I don't know if I can believe someone telling me they're not afraid of rejection. Because even I am. I'm sure you are too. Like, you know what I mean? So I think with us, it's just like we could be afraid, but I think we know how big the door can be.
Right.
Like on the other side, we just find the worth in it.
Yeah.
So
I think the best way for me to like summarize that is like the opportunity is so big.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know if you ever read the book Too Good to Fail.
Or
like like there's a book that's saying like if you really put great work out there, like even if you do fail, if you get a rejection, you're still not a big L. It's like a micro L, like you're saying.
And for the big opportunity. You know what I mean?
Because
definitely.
I think you would probably know too.
Yeah.
Like all you need is one yes to rock your world.
Come on,
and win like a big one.
I tell people in sales, right? It's almost like baseball. Like you got like Hall of Famers. I mean, they miss more times than they actually hit the ball.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, in sales, if I can go out and make 10 calls and 2 people are like even trying to listen to me,
that's still a win.
And then, yeah, that's a dub. And then, like, that one person's like, I heard you and I'm messing with it.
Yeah.
I'm good. You know, like, that's the stuff. So I think, like, that's how you get that whole, like, rejection, you know, worth thing, right? Because I think once you do it, I think the difference between a good salesperson and a great salesperson is that effort, right?
Right.
Because I think like we can all go through a sales call, and I think a lot of people can go through and get someone to say yes. I think it's doable.
Yeah.
But it's just like how many doors are you willing to knock on?
Yeah.
And have shut in your face before you get that yes.
Right.
And I think like that's where it's at.
Yeah. I think I was on Instagram lately, and I heard of this guy named Dave Metzler. You heard of him?
Metzler. Oh yeah.
He's like owner of a couple sports teams.
Yeah.
And he said, like, if you're too scared to start your business or start doing sales, imagine if it took you 100 no's to get your first yes.
Yeah.
If you knew that off the start, how fast would you start making phone calls?
Exactly.
If you already knew you're gonna win at the end
result, yeah. And you know what? That was funny because I think when I first worked for a company called Cintas, you know what I mean? Like they had a structure so good. I think once you knew like for every 30 calls, I was getting like an appointment or something, or like for every 10 calls, you were getting an appointment.
Yeah.
You got so used to it, you're like, man, if I bang out 30 calls, I'm gonna have a good week. You know what I mean? And I think like once you got kind of used to that, you're good.
Yeah.
So I think that's like how that, you know, comes into play. And I think another thing is like, when people hear sales, they think of like car salesman. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I hate that mantra. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, I tell people what makes like the best salespeople are literally not just spewing out information, but just listening.
Yeah.
Because I think like the best salespeople sell to what you're telling them. Like, you know what I mean? If you're talking to me about, you know, like cleats and things like that, cool. Then I can find you a cleat that works for you.
Yeah.
But if I just start telling you about running shoes and you're not here for any running shoes, we're not going to get this going.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think the one thing big in just like world sales in general, listen. And then you'll know exactly what to say.
Love it.
Yeah.
I think that's a good note. I mean, is there anything else you want to say?
That's all I got. I definitely appreciate you, you know, with the impromptu, having me here, you know. But yeah, more of this, you know, and I know we'll be collaborating on more things in the future. So
for sure.
Definitely.
Okay. Until next time.
Yep.
Peace.
Found out.